So a couple of years ago, I lost my dad to stage 4 renal failure. His kidneys were just horrible. They wouldn't even put him on the donor list. So all they did was just put him on dialysis. And they were like, if you don't do dialysis, you're gonna die. Well, he wanted to live life on his own terms. So he took himself off dialysis. Prior to that, he had been in and out of the hospital since I was 12. So that was the year 2000. He was cutting the grass and then he just passed out. And then he just laid there in the bed for like 3 or 4 weeks. I'm not sure why, but you know, it happened. I just remember being relieved that he was all right. That was the first of many times that he actually got sick though. Many times. I mean, we were in and out of like getting evicted left and right because he couldn't hold a steady job. He just started throwing up. He just had a terminal illness that nobody could diagnose. So I just wanted to tell y'all that it's important that y'all understand why I'm doing this video. So this is my thing for 3 ways to move on from the death of a loved one. So number 1, you need to understand that everybody dies. We all know it. We all try to run from it. We all think that death is escapable or avoidable, but we all know that it's coming. That's why we have things called the wall. When you hit the wall, you're closer to death than you think of it. Not everybody's gonna stay young forever. Not everybody's gonna be fit forever, but some people die young. Some people die fit. We don't know why people die, but just know that death is a vital part of life. It's gonna help you move on. Trust me, trust me. I've had more friends die than I can count. One of them took his own life in his backyard, even though he wouldn't tell anybody he was dealing with suicidal thoughts. He wouldn't say it. And the only way that you can get on with your life is to tell yourself that death is a part of life. You have to move on. You have to get over it. It's essential for your own survival. Everybody dies. Everything has an expiration date. As long as you keep that in the back of your mind, you can actually help yourself out when people die around you. When you actually focus on the fact that everybody dies, then the time that you spend with everybody matters that much more, because you're not thinking that there's going to be a tomorrow for you. You're only thinking about this time that you have now. As if this is the last time that you're going to see somebody, then treat them like that. Because I didn't even get to see my dad before he died, and I take that around everywhere I go. He called me and he told me he'll call me back, and I woke up thinking I'll be able to talk to him again, and I didn't. Number 2, don't eulogize the dead. So I was listening to the radio, and this pastor, his name is David Jeremiah. His dad told him, you know, whatever you do, don't eulogize the dead. What that means is don't sing the praises of somebody who's dead, because your great man could always be somebody else's tyrant. So if you're like, oh, he was always on time with paying his debts, he never, you know, bothered anybody, there's always that one person that's like, nah, you didn't know the whole story. This guy owed me $100. You know, that's what actually happened to me. You know, people were telling me, oh, you didn't know what kind of person. I was like, I've been taking care of him for the last 3 years of my life. And before that, I was taking care of him for the 2 years before that, before he even moved in with me, because he was in and out of the homeless shelter, because like I said, he couldn't work. Then I was definitely sending him $200 or $300 a month so he could actually eat food and have something to be able to live like a decent person. Everybody was telling me, oh no, somebody else was taking care. I was like, okay. Or they tell me, you know, you don't know the whole story. You don't know what kind of person he was. Well, I like to think that in the last couple of years of his life, I knew what kind of person he was. So yeah, never eulogize the dead, because there's always going to be somebody who says that that person was not as good as you thought they were. Okay, number 3. Know that they are in a better state. So knowing that my dad had a very, very sickly body, even though I knew that, I would always pray to God, keep him alive, keep him alive. I don't want you to take him. And of course, God hears your prayers. Sometimes he ain't gonna take them. And that's what I feel like he was doing. He was listening to it, because my dad would just like get well and then go back to the hospital and be close to death again, and then get well again and then be close to death. But at some point, you just have to let go and let God. His body was so racked and so bad that like he was just hurt all the time. And I know that he's in a better state now, where, you know, I'm a Christian, so I believe that he went to heaven because we believe in Jesus, and because of diabetes. People think that it's a game. They think they could just live with diabetes and it's just gonna be good. No, it's not a game. It's not a joke. You need to take it seriously. You need to focus on trying to get rid of it, not manage it. That'll help you get on with it, knowing that person is in a better place. Bonus tip, keep moving. So you, above all else, you need need to keep moving forward. You have to. It is easy to dwell on the past, and it's easy to try to live in that time frame, but you have to keep moving forward. They're not coming back. They're not going to come back. They're gone. Accept it and keep moving forward. Do great things. Be a great person. Let their loss motivate you to do something else. You are the librarian of their memories. You get to tell the next generation, oh man, you would have loved your grandpa, your grandma, or uncle, whoever it is to you. You have all these stories and all that stuff. You could tell the story so well that people think that they know this person when they don't, because they would have never met him, but they live on through you, your actions and your mannerisms and all that stuff. But you have to keep moving forward. Bonus tip number 2, don't be a wreck. And literally, I think this is the best tip, is that you don't need to be a wreck. You don't need to, just break down in tears every single time you think about this person, or just act foolish in the store, just start crying, fall down on the floor and all that stuff. You need to keep your composure about you, because you can't keep being irrational about these things. The person is gone. They're not coming back. If you had some kind of unsaid past or history with this person, that's your fault, because you didn't take life seriously with that person. With that said, if you keep getting irrational and emotional about this stuff, you're going to lose more friends, and then you're probably going to be that loved one that somebody else misses, because you can't stop focusing on this one person. You have to realize that your life is going to go on. You can't sit back and keep mourning. You can't. There's a time for mourning. There's a time for joy. There's a time for peace. There's a time for happiness. You cannot make every moment that you live a time of mourning. Get up and do something with yourself. And I know some people might be married for 60 years and then that loved one dies. That is a truly heartbreaking thing, but you cannot just want to die because that person has died. I don't know what else to tell you if you've been with somebody in a very, very, very long time and then they pass away. But you have to move forward too. Just like everybody else, we all got a purpose in life, and it is not to wait for death. It is to make this life the one that we have, the best one that we can ever get. And if you sit around wasting this long life that you got 60 years with a person. Let's say you married them at 20, so now you're 80, but you've had a longer time than everybody else. Like I said, follow any of this stuff. You're the librarian of the memories of that other person. You've known them longer than anybody else has been alive. Dedicate your life to being good, to being just, to being truthful. You've made it this far. If you're 80 years old, you've made it a very, very long way. Show the next generation how to be good. Maybe you might find your purpose for doing things out of that, but do not be a wreck. But anyway, guys, that is the video. Let me know what you guys think in the comments down below. Subscribe if you want to, and if you already are subscribed, make sure you hit the notification icon so you can learn everything that I put out every single time I put it out. But anyway, that's the life you have with Tez. That's me. Peace out.